NBL now, thanks to Code Sports, your home of everything hoops this NBL season. Joel Peterson, along with David Duke Jr., the new Perth Wildcats import, special guest for us on the pod today. David, Duke, nice to have you, man. Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
We were just talking off air, and you said the nickname's pretty simple. Just Duke will do.
Yeah, pretty simple man.
I like it. How have you found Perth? How have you settled into to life out west?
Perth is beautiful, man. It definitely caught me by surprise. Just the weather, how nice it is. Right by the beach is where I'm staying too. So it's been a great experience so far.
Before we talk about your basketball journey, what do you like off the court? Like, what are you into? What are you doing when you're not on the practice court, or what kind of things are you doing around Perth at the moment?
Uh, a lot of it has just been trying to get settled in. Getting groceries for the place I'm staying, appointments. For all these medical like onboarding stuff and honestly, that's just been my off days. I went golfing the other day with a couple of my teammates, so that's something that I'm looking forward to continue to do on my off days as well. And yeah, just getting to see a little bit more of the city. Hopefully, I can continue to get some recommendations of places to check out and utilize that on my off days.
You didn't go with Dylan Windler to play golf, did you?
I did.
Did you run him off the course? I've heard he's pretty handy.
No, we just hit the golf range, so we didn't get to play it properly yet. So
He's one of the best golfers going around in our competition, that's for sure. Hey, so let's talk about your journey to get here basketball wise. Tell us about where you grew up and then your journey into the professional basketball realm.
I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, and started out, playing rec league and AAU basketball, all the way through Providence public school system until I got to high school. After about 3 years, transferred to a boarding school out there in Boston, and then from there went on to Providence College. So I came back home and stayed. Was there for 3 years. That was an amazing experience. I would choose Providence over and over again if I could. It was really nice to just play in front of the city and in front of my family as well. I grew up with two brothers, so it was important for me to have them around, just seeing the journey up front. After that, I left my junior year to enter the draft. I went undrafted, but signed with Brooklyn Nets and was there for 2 years before going to the San Antonio Spurs for 2 years as well. Bounced back and forth between the NBA and G League. And yeah, this past year, I went to training camp with the Suns, and then after training camp, decided to sign with Perth. And like I said earlier, man, it's been such a journey, but it's been a blessing to be here, just with the people who are in the organization that have welcomed me and just allowed me to be me. But I also feel like the group that we have we gel, really well.
Can we talk about, and I'm interested to come back to the NBA stuff, but your literal journey to get here. So you came from Rhode Island, you ended up in Melbourne to play your first game, but I think there were a few flights in between. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, 4 flights, 30 hours. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. Went from Rhode Island to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Los Angeles to Melbourne, Melbourne to Perth. And man, it was a lot. The most travel I probably have done just in one time span. Um, Getting here, honestly, didn't struggle too much with jet lag and things like that. It was more just my hydration and stuff that was something to keep note of because I was in the air for so many hours. And then I landed in Perth. However, the next day we had a travel day back to Tassie. So that was a whole whirlwind of travel for the last like week and a half or so.
What on earth do you do on 30 hours worth of flights? Are you a movies man, TV shows? How did you entertain yourself?
Yeah, they had a TV that had movies, so I watched about 4 or 5 movies, listened to music, and honestly, just try to catch up on sleep as much as I can.
And that's pretty well played. What was your connection to the NBL? How did this opportunity come about for you? Did you know much about the league before you arrived here?
I didn't know much. I knew of the league. I knew that it was a great league. I had come across uh, a few fellow Australians, just from coaching staff, players and stuff, who are from Australia in general, but they talk about the NBL and how great of a league it is. So that was just the most knowledge that I had. But at the time, when it was time to make a decision on what this season would look like, my agent presented the opportunity, as well as a couple others that, of what I would want to do in doing more research, talking with Coach Riley and Danny Mills, and just getting a feel for what they needed. I think this just became the best choice for me and my family. So it's like I said, it's been a great decision so far to be here, and I'm just glad and looking forward to how the year pans out.
So you spent 4 and a bit years in that NBA system, and as you said, sort of went from NBA to G League opportunities and that kind of thing. When you sort of, and certainly not to say that's in the past, but when you reflect on your time at that level, like how do you view going up and down and sort of trying to find your best form while you're just seeking the next opportunity? Like, what did you make of that NBA opportunity? Because it's the culmination of a life stream to get there, but then it can be pretty tough graft when you do.
Yeah, we always say it's hard to get there. They say, 1% of players get there, but it's even harder to stay there, and there's a lot of things that kind of have to fall into place. But most importantly, when the opportunity presents itself, making sure you're taking advantage of it. It's a league of opportunity, timing of things, and honestly a little bit of luck as well. So, when you take all those things into consideration, if you can just make sure that you're ready when your opportunity is called, like you will, for sure see some success to come from that. For me, I feel like I definitely did, but it is a tough journey, especially in the position I was in, where I'm right on the cusp, of trying to stick and be there, having to bounce back and forth between G League, NBA, and then when you're on the floor, honestly, it's almost like you have to be perfect in a way, right? You have to limit your mistakes. You don't really get as much of a leeway as some of the bigger stars. It's a lot of different things, but it definitely taught me a lot. It helped me to grow my game and just in my maturity as well, my approach to the game. And I'm super grateful for it. Obviously, past 4 years I was over there. Now I'm here. I think my focus is just being here and trying to be my best self here, impact the organization in a positive way, hopefully compete for a championship, and just make the most of it while I'm here.
Let's talk Wildcats. There was a great piece recently with Tom Hurst talking about John Riley and sort of going behind the mystery. A lot of people in the outside the club don't necessarily know a lot about him. He's an interesting personality, and we love to try and sort of read his mind and see what he's up to and what he's thinking at any given time, especially with the goings on of the last little while. What's been your impression of him, and what have you enjoyed about working with him so far as a head coach?
I think he's a phenomenal coach, man. He's, really a player's coach. He lets players play free, but, he gives us concepts and some structure to stick to. I think it works. I think he's very smart in what he does, and he knows what he's talking about. I think his player coach relationship, like how he manages that, he manages it very well as well. So I have no complaints. Our coach has been, really good for me, especially making the adjustment to the NBL style of play. He's been here, he's seen it. So, for me to have a coach that is willing to invest into me and talk to me and kind of walk me through things as well, it's been really comforting.
Have you hit it off with any particular teammates? Are there members of the group you're spending a lot of time with?
Like I said, I've been pretty busy with a lot of appointments and stuff off the court. I, hung out with Dill the other day on the golf at the golf range. Hoping to get a few more guys out there, hopefully. But yeah, man, I think I'm clicking with a lot of guys though. Joe, Do, Henny as well. He's a young guy, but he's very talented. I like his game. But yeah, man, I think just our group as a whole, we go to team dinners with where it's just the players. We hang out off the court the night before the game. So it's like almost like a college feel in a way.
Do you reckon you'll get Joe out on the golf driving range? Because I reckon he can hit a long ball.
I would think so that he could, if he gets his swing now. I haven't seen a swing yet, so we'll have to see.
He might bomb him right down the middle. Let's talk about your first couple of games. So you play that first one against Southeast Melbourne, and it was really just trying to get a feel for things. I think sitting courtside calling that game, we could see that you clearly had something to offer in this space, and then you get thrown straight into the deep end in game two, and you've got to guard Bryce Cotton with all the history and the five MVPs and that type of thing. What did you make of that challenge, and was it one that you enjoyed?
Yes. So it definitely was a challenge that I was willing to take. I never back down from any matchup. That's just me, my personality. I do believe in my defensive capabilities that I can stay in front of just about anyone. That doesn't mean that it's a guarantee to stop somebody. It definitely took a lot of locking into the scout. We had a great week of practice, just dialing in on what we're going to do for him as well as, other guys on the floor. Going into that game, I know there was a lot of built up, there was a backstory behind it. I just got here, so that didn't really mean too much to me. I was going in there as, it was another game, but I'm a competitor in every single game I go into, I want to win. So I just put my best foot forward. We got a great team win. And I'm just, aside from that game, I'm hoping, we can just bottle that up and continue to let it flow into these next few games as well.
Have you felt any pressure to fill Bryce's shoes in a way? I mean, you both went to the same college, you both came in mid-season, you play against him in game two. Has there been any pressure, not necessarily placed on you by the organisation, but just by coming into this situation?
No, not at all. Uh, I don't do the comparison thing. I'm a firm believer everybody has their own journey. You can't replicate somebody else. You can try as much as you can, but you can't replicate somebody else. So the next man can't replicate me as well. It's just about you sticking to what you are capable of doing and doing it to the best of your ability every single day, putting your best foot forward. I don't try to aim to be Bryce. I respect his game. I grew up honestly watching him since college. So I have a deep respect and love for his game. But for me, I'm focused on being the best David Duke that I could possibly be.
And did I see on Instagram, I'm not sure whether it was the Wildcats or maybe you posted a photo of the two of you with the little nod to the fact that you both went to the same college, having an appreciation for his game. Was it cool to be on the same floor with him?
For sure, it was definitely cool to be on the same floor. It's been a while since honestly I last saw him, like in person. But like I said, he went to college right down the street from my house, so I was always, able to watch practice or go to like some of their game when I was like in middle school. So it was definitely like a full circle moment. I know how much he means to the Providence College community, and I think it was pretty cool for them to see, two former Friars on the same floor.
Yeah, I think it was pretty cool for all of us to see you two going head to head. There's been a lot of commentary in terms of, I guess, as how we assess you coming in, and people like Andrew Gaze, who's a great of our competition, saying, you've clearly got an NBA body and an NBA skill set that you bring to the table. As much as you say you're sort of keeping your presence in the here and now with the Perth Wildcats, do you still have that sort of flickering flame of hopefully one day returning to the NBA level?
I do believe I'm an NBA player. I do believe, I'm able to play there. Like I hinted at before, NBA is a lot about opportunity, timing, and a little bit of luck. So, if all those chips fall in the right order after this year, and that call comes in, we'll have to make that decision at that time. I don't. I'm not looking ahead at all to anything. I love where I'm at right now. So I think if I just continue to take day by day and get better every single day, that's definitely a possibility that can come, and I'll be happy for sure. But like I said, at the end of the day, man, like my mind is on the here and now in this season.
Um, there's been a bit of chat, and clearly Ben Henshall's a teammate who you mentioned before, who's got his eye toward that and spent some time in the US in the off season. Potentially had a move to college there, and then ended up coming back to the Perth Wildcats. From what you've seen from him and what you've seen from his game and his size, do you think someone like he could be an Australian player in the next few years who could translate to that level?
Absolutely. Henny's a tough player, man. He's young, but he's smart. He has a great skill set already where he's at. I think once he is able to continue to work and find what is his like niche, he's gonna take off. I do believe he is an NBA player, especially him being so young and with the skill set that he has. But he has the physicality, man, and I'm excited for his future for sure. I'm hoping that, as we continue to battle it out in practice, like I help him get better, he helps me get better as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to his future.
What have you made of our competition so far? So you didn't know an awful lot about it coming in, but having watched it now and been a part of a few games, obviously, and had a chance to talk to people around the league and see things. Are there particular players that you sort of have caught your eye, or things that have stuck out to you in terms of NBL basketball?
I think the biggest thing that has stuck out is the spacing of the game. There's no defensive 3 seconds, so you can just kind of hang out in the paint as much as you want. Um, and that's just been like the biggest thing for me adjusting to now. There's when to attack, when to drive. I'm a downhill type of player. So I think for me, it's now adjusting and figuring out where I can get to and utilize that to my advantage. But there's talented players here, man. I didn't not that I just didn't think there was, but I was so focused like just strictly NBA when I was there. So I never watched the NBL at all. But guys here are really talented. And I'm just excited to continue to compete and form those matchups throughout the year.
Oh, it's terrific to have you here, and it's been great to have you as part of NBL Now here, of course, presented by Code Sports, your home of number one home of everything hoops, with insider access and exclusive analysis throughout the course of the season. David Duke Jr., look forward to seeing you across the court in the next little while. Thanks very much for spending a bit of time with us here on NBL Now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, man. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Plenty more NBL Now coming your way as this season continues.